I got the Apple Watch Ultra, and today I'm going to tell you whether or not it's worth the hefty $800 price tag. As some of you may know, I've been dealing with some health complications recently, and I've been looking for a smartwatch that just does it all. Sleep tracking, ECG, you name it, those are all features that at this point in my life right now are super valuable to me. I did give the Galaxy Watch 5 a go, but in my experience, I found it to be pretty clunky. And no matter how many times I've tested it, the fall detection just never triggered. And considering that I've been home a lot lately and have had seizures, it's something that I'm not willing to risk. So let's get the debates out of the way. This is not a comparison between the Watch 5 and the Watch 5 Pro. In this video, I'm strictly going to be talking about the Apple Watch Ultra. And as a quick heads up, most of you watching are not subscribed to the channel. So if you could just do that for me very quickly and potentially even leave a like on the video, it really does help out. You have no idea. So it's been 2 short days with the Apple Watch Ultra, and I've used it for sleep tracking twice. My current battery percentage is 56%, and for me, that's pretty good. I've never really been a fan of the Apple Watch in general, just due to the battery not really being that good, which is why this time around I decided to go for the Ultra just because of that extended battery life up to 36 hours. Like, a smartwatch is supposed to be an extension of your life, and I don't really want to have to worry about when and where I need to charge it, just because I don't want to miss any of those critical readings that I may get out of it. So to have the Watch Ultra last as long as it does is just a nice peace of mind knowing that I'll get bare minimum 2 days out of it. Now, let me just get something out of the way and say that I'm not the target audience for this watch, and most of you watching probably aren't either. But when you factor in the pricing, it's not actually a terrible value. The stainless steel Series 8 goes for about $750 US. So if the durability and the sapphire glass is all that you're after, that's a good option as well. However, when you factor in that for $50 more, you're getting a much longer and stronger battery life, a way more durable build, and some extra features like night mode and the remappable action button, it's really not that bad of a deal. Also, I have tried a bunch of Apple Watch bands throughout the years, and I was really thinking that I would hate the Alpine Loop that this specific one came with. But at the moment, it's actually up there with being my favorite, just right behind the magnetic leather link. For me, I chose the medium-sized Green Alpine Loop, and it fits me quite well. I don't have large wrists by any means, but I find the watch band to be quite comfortable, and despite it being the largest Apple Watch, I kind of forget that it's on my wrist, even though it's pretty hefty at 61 grams. Memes aside, and yes, I posted them too, I don't think that this watch looks goofy in person. It's large, don't get me wrong, but it's probably not the largest watch that you've ever worn if you have a bigger build. Like, I'm actually pretty sure that when I was younger, I had a G-Shock that just dwarfed my wrist, so this thing doesn't look that big at all. When I went into the Apple Store to try on the Ultra, I was totally expecting it to look really dumb on me. And then the weirdest thing happened. I put on the 45mm Series 8, and then it just looked super dainty and weird, which was really weird because I actually own the Series 7 45mm, and from what I remember, it looked pretty big on me, but I don't know, now it just got dwarfed by the Ultra. And it was kind of in that split second where I realized the Ultra was the best fit and complemented my wrist very well. And I'm really glad with the decision that I made. Carrying 2 phones is just something that's become the normal for me now, considering I have this channel to worry about, so I'm always testing new devices. So it doesn't really bother me that this is locked to my iPhone, but part of me kind of wishes that I can just use this with my Fold, but that's Apple. They have to make things super difficult for people. I really wish there was some Apple Watch that was compatible with various other Android phones, but we all know that's never gonna happen. Aside from that though, it's everything that you've pretty much come to expect from an Apple Watch. It's snappy, it feels really premium, it has a plethora of watch faces within the Watch app, and you can really do a lot of tweaking to the complications to make sure your watch face is giving you all the information you need at a glance. One thing that I was actually really curious and worried about was how comfortable this watch would be when it comes to sleeping with it. And if you're someone that sleeps with your face on your wrist or something, I'm sure punching yourself in the face in the middle of the night with a titanium brick is gonna suck, but for me, I found like I hadn't even really noticed it on my wrist. There's been no times where I woke up in the middle of the night from dinging it across my forehead, or really it it hasn't got in the way at all, which I think is nice considering how big this watch is. Maybe it's just how I sleep, but I haven't really noticed it to be a problem. The watch also fits quite well under hoodies and jackets, which is really nice considering that I live in Canada, and some days it goes from being 30 degrees Celsius to feeling like it's -15. And although this watch does work in under -20 Celsius conditions, I'm really glad that it fits under the sleeves really well, because I'm not sure I want a frozen titanium brick on my wrist. It's also IP6X dust resistant, and it's water resistant up to 130 feet. Now, I don't necessarily see myself being much of a diver in the next few years, but it is a nice peace of mind knowing that when you spend this much money on a watch, it's gonna be very durable and hold up long term. And from some of the tests that I've seen on YouTube of people just demolishing this thing, it actually does look like it's holding up quite well. And I guess it's kind of the point with this watch. Like, even if you're an everyday person just kind of doing mundane tasks, I wouldn't feel embarrassed about buying one of these things. It just does everything so well. It's hands down the most durable Apple Watch and one of the most durable smartwatches that you could even buy. So if you do even labor-intensive work or are just very, very clumsy, I don't see why it wouldn't be a good idea to go for this thing. I actually ended up ordering screen protectors for it, but I decided to return them back to Amazon because I figured this sapphire glass, after some of the videos that I've watched of tech racks smashing it, is gonna hold up way longer than those screen protectors. And since it's sapphire, it's not really gonna scratch easily. So you're pretty much just gonna burn through screen protectors. So I found there's no point in even using them. So back to the original point, I guess. Is it worth $800? Well, the value of the watch really depends on what you're looking for in it. If you can save yourself the extra money by going with the SE or the Series 8, by all means, I think those are the best bang for the buck options. Especially if you're a little careful, you don't need the extra durability and you can go with even the aluminum option of the Series 8. But if you want the best of the best, no compromise Apple Watch, and the designs of the regular ones are starting to feel dated to you since they've been out since 2015, I would 100% hands down go with the Ultra. Also, one thing a lot of people don't technically really know about is that if you have a major carrier, I don't really know what they are in the United States, but in Canada we have Rogers and Bell, you can actually just go ahead and finance the device through them. Since this watch comes with LTE, you're probably gonna want that LTE service anyway, and it's probably a good idea if you can't justify paying $800 up front to just add it to your phone plan. It really doesn't make any world of a difference, and it's actually what I ended up doing since the watch is really hard to get right now from Apple. So if you're kind of like trying to beat the stock shortage, or you just want to get it for a little bit cheaper, that's also a good option as well. I actually bought this just for myself when it comes to my health and safety. I was never really intending to make any content on this watch, but if this is something that you want to see more of, maybe an update later down the line, let me know in the comments down below and I'll try to make the best out of it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it or found it somewhat even slightly helpful, I would really appreciate your support by liking or subscribing to the channel. Anyways, that's been it. Peace out.